Granary Burial Ground is a resting place for some of the most famous people in American history. It is the third oldest cemetery in Boston. Granary is famous for John Hancock, Samuel Adams, and Paul Revere being buried there. Benjamin Franklin's parents are marked by a big obelisk in the center of the graveyard. The infant's tomb is near their grave and has hundreds of children buried in it. John Hancock's tomb is along the far wall and is also marked by an obelisk. Paul Revere's gravestone is in the back, marked by a large stone put here in the 1800s. James Otis and Samuel Adams' headstones are in the front two corners. The victims of the Boston Massacre and the third person to sign the Declaration of Independence, Robert Treat Paine, are also buried there. Also at the cemetery is Peter Faneuil, who built Faneuil Hall, and Samuel Sewall, a judge of the witchcraft trials. Phyllis Wheatley, the first African-American author, John Hancock's slave, Frank, and Elizabeth Vergoose, who is thought to be Mother Goose, all have their graves in Granary. There is also Christopher Snyder, a 12-year-old boy who was killed by a British soldier 11 days before the Boston Massacre. Granary was established in 1660, but no one was actually buried there until 1667, when John Wakefield became the first. The graveyard got its name in 1737, when a granary, a building used to store grain, was moved there. There are over 5,000 people buried there. People used their grave markers to show what they thought happened in the afterlife. An example of this was soul effigy, a skull with wings which they carved on their gravestones. It was meant to show a soul flying up to heaven. There were also pictures of Father Time and the Grim Reaper. There are also epitaphs on the gravestone, which were mostly in the late 1700s. They showed how others felt about their losses. There are three kinds of tombs in the graveyard. Most tombs are marked by headstones or footstones. There are table tombs, which are like tables, but they are just headstones, not the actual tombs. And there are vaults. Table tombs and vaults were mostly for the richer people. There's also a myth that grave robbers stole John Hancock's hand during the reorganization of his grave. In the mid-1800s, walkways, trees, and other plants were added to the burial grounds. There were no burials after 1856 because grave diggers complained of a lack of space. When a new invention, the lawnmower, was invented, the graves were reorganized. Because of this, some of the headstones did not correspond with the bodies underneath. Thank you.